All right, guys. Top of the morning to you. Well, bottom of the evening, we'll call it. It's been a busy weekend here. I told you all about the three turnovers that we had between Friday and Saturday. Turns out we had a fourth turnover. We had a last minute booking up in Tuscaloosa Friday night. I was nervous as a three-legged house cat when it came through because we got a booking through booking.com. That's an unusual channel for us. We don't get very many bookings um, from booking.com in Tuscaloosa there. And so, just some very strange stuff in general. The booking came through late Friday night at I think it was like 11:40 or something like that. We normally don't allow um, bookings on short notice, especially without having spoken with the person that was going to be booking with us. We have our calendar set up to where we get 1 day's advance notice. Well, what that translates to in actual execution is you can book the next day up until 12 a.m. the night before. So that's your 1 day, right? So you've got check in at 4 p.m. Um, and so technically we wouldn't ever have less than what's that, 16 hours notice on a booking. So anyways, got that booking last minute. Had to scramble around to get everything ready and get all the paperwork signed and get the identity verified. We were having trouble getting in touch with the guest, and I'm just because it's been so long since we had a booking.com uh reservation. I wasn't quite familiar and as comfortable as I'd like to be. Figuring out, have I got good contact info? Is this a legitimate booking? Because one of the data points that we received was um, that the guest was from Bangkok, um, Thailand. So I was like, "There's no way this is a legitimate booking. Somebody from Bangkok, Thailand, is coming to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to stay for 1 night. 1 night is another big red flag in general. But for last minute bookings, we do try to get some of that commuter traffic and some of the shoulder seasons and off peak uh, weekends and stuff like that. So, anyways, had a tough time getting in touch with the guest all day Saturday. We were sending message after message, made a couple phone call attempts, and the phone number that we had gotten with the reservation wasn't an active phone number, so that was also red flag number two. Well, I don't, I never really got to the bottom of whether or not they just used a fake phone number to make the booking, but they ended up calling us, and so once we talked to them, we were able to get comfortable with it. It was fine. Somebody had family members, at the hospital, which is, extremely convenient to that home that we have up there in Tuscaloosa. So, it ended up making sense. And it was just one of those due diligence things that we had to kind of go through to make sure everything was going to be okay. We kind of kept our eyes on the cameras. We've got exterior cameras at that unit, just to make sure that there wasn't something, unreported going on in terms of guests and activity and all that kind of stuff. But anyways, got through that. A little bit of a hiccup. But anyways, the reason I'm actually recording this evening now instead of this morning, I didn't go into work at my usual time, and that's why this venue here is a little bit different as well. Catching up on the Causeway is about to be eastbound on I-10. We're headed down to Perdido Key. We've got some guests who are having some trouble with their hot water supply. That is in the unit that I'm going to check on. The hot water heaters are electric, all electric. So, in fact, the whole house is electric, except for the whole home generator and the pool furnace. But Having some issues with hot water. It seems that both hot water heaters have gone out. There's two hot water heaters that service that unit there. So hoping that we don't have a blown board. We've had issues with this brand of water heaters in the past. It was actually the first weekend, maybe the second weekend that my family ever stayed down uh, at this house. Um, and turned out that that one was a blown motherboard on that hot water heater. So we had one floor that had hot water and a second floor that did not. So in this case, both hot water heaters are out. So I'm hoping that that translates to a blown breaker, tripped breaker on a sub panel, rather than just a total coincidence, two blown motherboards on a hot water heater. We've got a backup board down at the house from that last episode that we had the issues with. The hot water heater manufacturer was extremely helpful, and just said, yeah, we'll sell you the part, and you can buy a replacement board and have it on call. In this case, if it turns out that it's two boards, um, we'll call it limp mode. We'll put them into limp mode if I can figure out how to get it wired up and all that kind of stuff to get it going. But we'll see. This is part of the joys of property management. You have to be ready, willing, and able to get moving on a moment's notice. It's a good thing I wasn't over in Mobile today doing Lundy Groff stuff. That would be problematic. But with it being 5:15 now, we got the notice from the renters at about 4:45 that they'd been having some issues. They actually said that they hadn't had hot water for 17 hours. Um, you know, little disappointing that we haven't found out sooner. I think it'll be a little challenging, I would say, to convince them uh, we're we're worthy and have earned a 5-star review uh, with 17 hours of no hot water. But the fact of the matter is, I can't fix something that I don't know there's a problem for. So, anyways, hopefully getting down here within an hour and a half, and hopefully up and running in terms of being comfortable again, will be enough to salvage that 5-star review. We really got to do what it takes to get a 5-star review from these guys. This property that we have, the second guest we ever had stay with us, um, left a great review. Had nothing but good things to say in the content of the review that they left, and then rated us 4 stars. It's pretty frustrating thing when that happens. We've implemented some new processes as a result of that specific review. um, we've put some magnets in and some guest communication and all that kind of stuff that kind of sets the stage for, hey, look, this is how we expect to be reviewed. And there's basically three main criteria that we kind of hint that guests need to evaluate us on. And it's, is the home clean? Is the home comfortable? Can you actually plug in, relax, unwind, or unplug, depending on what you're trying to get done, and if it's a property, uh, like the beach or up in Tuscaloosa where you might have some work commuters or whatever. And then how do we respond quickly when an issue pops up? So uh, I would say less than an hour, if assuming I'm able to get this hot water issue resolved, is probably as good as anybody could expect. I think short of somebody renting out a property that's in their backyard, and that also happens to be extremely handy in being able to fix things, you're probably never going to be able to get better service than that. So that's kind of part of um, part of the benefits of contracting with and dealing with a local property manager, um, like Euphoria Vacations. We're obviously operating um, in Perdido Key mainly, but I've got a way to get things done within the hour almost every time. So, anyways, that's the update for today. Um, Hope y'all have a happy Mardi Gras. And then maybe if I get a wild hair, maybe I'll record an episode on the way down to, wow, that was a motorcycle riding in the median like an idiot. Maybe I'll get an opportunity to record an episode on the way down to Fat Tuesday with y'all tomorrow. So see y'all. Good evening.